Hi, and welcome to this video on how to add full text search to an app in Business Central. Hey, I'm Eric, and in this video we're going to continue working on the search app. So if you haven't seen the first episodes of that, go back and check it out. We'll start right where we left off in the last one. And in this episode, we're going to look at how to, in quite an easy way, to actually do full text search in Business Central. So let's get to it. Here is Business Central. Here is Visual Studio Code, at least. And this is our app. And just to repeat what we have some search UI, search setup, a result page, and we do have a code unit where we keep all the code in. And in our search setup, so the search setup is a table telling where we should search. It's one of those days. So you specify tables, and right now we have implemented that we can search in the primary key. And today we're going to implement how to do the full text search. So let's get right into the search code unit. We have a function in here called search. It takes the search term that has been entered and also have a temporary var transferred variable for the search results. So we can just keep those in memory instead of having to write them to disk. And right now we can see that we have a loop that goes through all the tables that we have defined for search. We open a record ref to that table. And what we did the last time, or actually in the first one, we said if search is our primary key, then we find the primary key. And right now, this glorified search app only supports tables with one field in primary key. We get the field, we set a filter on that field in the primary key, and if we find a result. So full text search. I think I want to do something. I don't want to search the customer table if I already found a customer through the primary key. So I think I'm going to implement the full text search in case that we did not find a primary key in this table. So let's go and put an else statement on the if. So in case we did not find anything, then we need to go into the search setup. We need to check if we want full text search on this table. If we do, then we need to do two things, because we could. So here's the thing. We already opened a record ref, but we actually set a range on that one. So if we're going to use the same record ref, then we need to reset. So in order for this to be more portable, I prefer actually, so let's call it full ref instead. If I can, type record ref. So we avoid reusing a variable, because if we suddenly decide to copy the code, move it somewhere else, we don't know how it should work, so it will probably break. But if we contain this, then we can also at some point extract it into its own procedure if we need that. So let's open a new one. And as soon as we have that open, we can do a full ref.findset. So whenever you want to search an entire table, the proper syntax for traversing an entire table is if Findset, then repeat until next equals 0. That's the proper pattern for traversing an entire table. If you're not going to be updating, there's a couple of parameters you can put on Findset. So we're not going to update, and we're not going to update the key. This will optimize the backend to figure out how to retrieve the data and how to cache it and so on. So if we can find the data, as I just showed you, the pattern is then FormatRef.next equals 0, and this is the same pattern where if we're using real record variables or we're using record ref, same thing. So now we're gonna reuse the trick we used back in episode 1 to create the fake caption before we created a better caption in episode 2. And the trick is that format on a ref. So how do you format a record ref variable? Well, it returns and not, as I said in the first episode, it returned a comma separated string. It actually returns a tab separated string. It used to before nav 2013 or 13 or 2 something. It used to return a comma separated. Now it returns a tab separated, which is better to separate because then you can have commas in your text. So what we can actually do is say if format.ref, and since we're going to search, we have to make we don't want to do case sensitive searching. So we'll have to convert it to either uppercase or lowercase. So I choose lowercase in this case. And then, as you can see, I can actually connect functions here. So I can say use the contains, and then I can take my search term and do to lower. But since this is inside a tight loop, I don't want to lowercase my search term for each record. So I will actually go up and add I'll just call a lower search term up here, and that's also text. And then I will prepare that down here and saying, okay, lower search term equals search term to lower. There we go. You could also so this is the new syntax, a new syntax. I could have done the exact same and said lower search term equals search each lowercase search term. These two lines will do the exact same thing. So it's a matter of preference which one you like. So I'll go with the dot since we're using the dot functions later on here. So now I can just say, instead of this one, I can say lower search term. And this is a contain, so we don't spill CPU cycles on getting the position and all that, because we're only interested in whether there's a hit or not. So if that's the case, then begin, and we need to add the search term, search results, and we actually have that code up here. So we'll just quickly put that in here, and now you can see formatting is all wrong. If I were to save this or compile, the formatter would kick in. You can actually also go to the command palette and select format document, and then you get the formatting without necessarily saving. And then that's about it. So let's try this for the first time. Then we can talk about whether we should do something more. So let's try it out. I'll compile, deploy. We're deploying. Let's get this up in a decent size. I'll log in. And I go to the search page. And let's just do the old thing. So 10,000 should give us a vendor and a customer, because the setup we have right now is the customer table, the vendor table, and the item table. So let's try to do something else. Let's try to search for desk. I think there's no deck somewhere. And we got a compiler error. And here's an interesting thing. So let me show you what went wrong. So what we forgot to do, and this is an important thing. So now you can see I'll continue, and the record is already open. So what I did wrong here is that whenever we have a record ref, we can only open it once. And since this ref is sitting inside a loop, and actually this was a bug in the old one also. No, it was because I closed it down here, but I forgot to close this one. So I need to close the full ref again. So let's do that right about here. Full ref.close. There we go. Let's try it again. Deployed. And if you follow the discussion on Twitter right now, I'll just do search for desk, see what we get, if we get anything. So we didn't get anything. I forgot what items we have in this one. Let's see if we can find something. If you follow the discussion on Twitter, I'm actually running on the Windows 10 version 2004 with Docker, and so far it seems to be working from a Docker perspective. We didn't find anything. Let's go back to our app and look and see if there's something obvious we missed. Yeah, can you see the error? I can see the error loud and clear here because I actually used the wrong variable. So let's try to format the one that we're actually using in this loop. Now you're all yelling at the screen, Eric, you used the wrong variable. Yeah, I did. Let's try it again. Let's try it again. That's the beauty of a live experience. That sometimes desk, boom, we got something. Let's click on it and see where we got something very strange here. So let's look at the result. What did we save? We got oh yeah, you're yelling at the screen again. So I probably did a classic error again. So as soon as you copy paste code, you get into these issues, and the issue I got into here is that again I decided to use a different record ref. So last time, this is it. Now we want this to work. Let's just see if we got any more with just ref. I don't think we have. Hey, no more copy pasting. So copy paste, that's the source of like 80% of all bugs, because you copy pasted something without realizing what all the stuff you copy pasted, just like I did right now. Okay, the third time, desk. There we go. So we actually got an item. And let's click on it and see if we get the card. We do. Okay, not bad, not bad. So, and we even got a caption here. We can see that we have something with a timestamp, so we can discuss whether we want date time fields in our caption function, but I think I'll leave that up for another video. So let's just see if we can can search for something that we have more than one of, just so we can see if, how about chair? Let's search for chair. There we go. We get multiple chairs. If we had a customer called something with a chair, tray research, let's rename this customer to something with a chair desk research, and go back to our search thingy. And we probably need to go out of that one and get back into it here and say chair. We also got a customer. So that's pretty good. So let's take a moment to look at what we finally got after making a lot of copy paste errors. So we said that if we did not find anything on a primary key in this table, and we have set up this table for full text search, we open a new ref. That's the bane of all the issues. Make sure that we have a lowercase search term, then we loop through all the records in the table. And we use the trick where you can say format on a record ref, and then you get a string with the entire record in. We convert that to lower. We use the contain function to see whether our search term is in that string somewhere. Then we add the result. So we could optimize this. Just we could add one small optimization here. So if we go into the setup, and then let's add a field called 21 full text search limit, and tell that we might only want to get 10 results or so. So full text search limit. Can you see that? Now you can. Data classification. This is just system metadata. And let's add that to the UI. So somewhere around here. I used the classic control space to get the field list. Full text search limit. Application area, because all good videos need at least me typing application area equal all once. And then let's go back to the management and say, okay, so from within this, so we need another counter. Full counter, let's call it that. And full counter equals 0, because this will be used on multiple tables. And then we'll do full counter plus, go see, you guys can see this, plus equal 1. And then let's find the, no, hang on, this was the wrong place. Wow, did you see that? We did it in the wrong spot. There we go. This one needs to go there. This one needs to go there. There we go. I can use the format to make sure everything's look. And until next equals 0. Make sure you guys can see it. X equals 0, or full counter is larger than search setup dot limit, and then we just need to right now need to add a limit. So let's try that for last. So let's go to the setup and say that I only want 5. Oops. Wow. 555. There we go. So let's try that. Chair. And this one broke. Char. Ha. Chair. Let's try it again. There we go. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which is actually correct because I think I said larger than. So let's actually go with an equal instead. So the very last try. Edit list, chair, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 items. So that's basically our full text search functionality. We could add some other options saying that we could actually put a timing function on, saying that if it looked through too many records without finding them, maybe just skip it. We could also consider how we want to look at the table, if we want to look at new records first instead of old records, depending on what kind of table it is. So there's a lot of settings that we could put on this to optimize it. But the secret sauce is still that format command on the FormatRef, because that will just give you a string with data from the entire record. So we could also search for numbers, we could search for dates, as long as we're formatting in the same way. Anything that's in that string will be found. But in the next video, I want to show you a trick on how to actually incorporate this to access the search function from outside of BC. So stay tuned for that, and until next time, remember to subscribe to the channel and let me know in the comments below if there were too many typing bugs and crazy things in this video. I'll see if I can do better than the next one. And then until next time, have a wonderful day.